Hello, we are continuing to highlight innovations that have occurred at the College of Veterinary Medicine. Today we are talking with Dr. Thierry Olivry. Hi, Dr. Olivry, how are you?
Hi, Kyle.
Thank,
So let me
thank,
tell you about this innovation, which is actually something that happened in the second part of the 1990s. And this innovation is the use of cyclosporine, now marketed in the US as Atopica from Novartis, now Elanco, to treat atopic dogs, or atopic dermatitis in dogs, I should say. So this is actually an innovation that I would claim as atopic dermatitis was always my area of passion, the disease that interested me most in the lab as well as in the clinic. Since the early 1990s, I became aware of the use of the cyclosporine, this immunosuppressant, for treatment of atopic dermatitis in people, but it was always a short treatment because this drug was not very safe in people. As the dogs were somewhat different than people in that a lot of the side effects that happen in people did not happen in dogs, I became perplexed and interested in trying it in dogs. At that time, in the late 1990s, I was having an office, and across from me was Shelley Vaden, who is one of our internists. And one day we started talking, and she told me she just finished a study using cyclosporine to treat glomerulonephritis, immune complex glomerulonephritis in the dog. And I remember asking her, do you have any drug left? And she did. She gave me 5 or 6 vials of the cyclosporine. And then I was looking for the perfect patient to start. And then I found a veterinary student, and she had a dog named Monsi. And Monsi was a mess. She was severely atopic. And by the time I see her, I would grade her as having moderate to severe disease while on low dose steroids, antibiotics, and immunotherapy. I decided to stop everything, and I gave her the cyclosporine at the dose that I extrapolated from the treatment of atopic humans. And a miracle happened. Within a month and a half, 2 months, her lesions were completely cleared. And I verified this success with about 4 or 5 other patients. And then I decided to approach the pharmaceutical company that was making cyclosporine, and that was Sandoz Pharma, which was a Swiss human pharma company. And I approached them to see if they would give me drugs to do a clinical trial. And so we decided to skip the pilot studies and go directly to a randomized controlled trial. About a few months after I started the trial, Sandoz Pharma merged with Ciba Animal Health, Ciba Geigy Animal Health, and they made Novartis, of which there was a pharma branch for human medicine and Novartis Animal Health. And about a year after, when we were about 2/3 on the way in our trial, I received a visit of a couple of Novartis scientists who heard from the Sandoz Pharma that I was working on this treatment for dogs. And I agreed to share with them the trial's result. And the result were so fascinating that they decided later on to develop this drug. And I helped them. It took about 4 or 5 years to launch Atopica for treatment of dogs with atopic dermatitis, and later on to try this drug in cats, and that became Atopica for cats. So why is it important? It was the first drug licensed to treat atopic dermatitis in the dog and allergic skin diseases in the cat. And it took about another 10 years to get the next drug, which is, as people might know, the Apoquel, which is now also a blockbuster drug for treatment of atopic dermatitis in dogs. But I would consider the Atopica still my baby and still my first choice treatment for the long term. So that's That's my innovation, and I think something as I am probably the most proud of because it made such a difference in the treatment of atopic dog and also the well-being of these dogs and these owners.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Dr. Olivry.